When you read these books, you will discover there are you put these dots together. You discover there are some things, some stories in the Bible, which are like open-ended stories, which you cannot really, it doesn't make sense because I think it was deliberately omitted. Those things, the connections were omitted to confuse the Christians. Hello, everyone. Good day. This is your brother, Elliot. We want to discuss something very sensitive, which most Christians are really skeptical about discussing, which is the book of Enoch. We want to really know, why did they bound the book of Enoch? And they are making changes in the Holy Bible. Does man have the right to make changes of a book inspired by God? The Pope is, as the rumor is flying all over the internet, that the Pope is trying to change the Ten Commandments. If the Pope could think of that, as they changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, that is an eye-opener, because the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And when you just study, you can never have the knowledge you need to survive with. Then that draws suspicion to the reason why the book of Enoch was bound. Could it be this is the history of the source of the white origin? The source of the origin of the white man? Is the book of Enoch opening a can of worm, revealing the meaning of the Nephilims, where the children, the sons of God came down, which are the fallen angels, to meet with the children of men, hereby creating supernatural being on earth? So, brethren, just let's go into the book of Enoch in relation to it, the fallen angels, how they came down to meet with the daughters of men. So after that, we have some discussion again.
Section 2, Chapter 6. And it came to pass, after the children of men had increased in those days, beautiful and comely daughters were born to them. And the angels, the sons of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, Behold, we will choose for ourselves wives from among the children of men, and will beget for ourselves children. And Samyaza, who was their leader, said to them, I fear that perhaps ye will not be willing to do this deed, and I alone shall suffer for this great sin. Then all answered him and said, We all will swear an oath, and bind ourselves mutually by a curse, that we will not give up this plan, but will make this plan a deed. Then they all swore together, and bound themselves mutually by a curse, and together they were 200. And they descended on Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn on it, and bound themselves mutually by a curse. And these are the names of their leaders: Samyaza, who was their leader, Urakabarameel, Akabiel, Tamiel, Ramuel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Sarakwajel, Aziel, Armers, Betrael, Anani, Zakebe, Samasviel, Sartiel, Turiel, Jomjael, Arizal. These are the leaders of the 200 angels, and the others all were with them. Chapter 7. And they took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go into them, and mixed with them, and taught them charms and conjurations, and made them acquainted with the cutting of roots and woods. And they became pregnant, and brought forth great giants, whose stature was 3,000 ells. These devoured all the acquisitions of mankind, till men were unable to sustain themselves. And the giants turned themselves against mankind in order to devour them. And they began to sin against the birds and the beasts, and against the creeping things, and the fish, and devoured their flesh among themselves, and drank the blood thereof. Then the earth complained of the unjust ones. Chapter 8. And Azazel taught mankind to make swords and knives and shields and coats of mail, and taught them to see what was behind them, and their works of art, bracelets and ornaments, and the usage of rouge, and the beautifying of the eyebrows, and the dearest and choicest stones, and all coloring substances, and the metals of the earth. And there was great wickedness, and much fornication, and they sinned, and all their ways were corrupt. Amezerach taught all the conjurers and root cutters, Armoros, the loosening of conjurations, Barak-al, the astrologers, Kokabel, the signs, and Temael taught astrology, and Azrael taught the course of the moon. And in the destruction of mankind they cried aloud, and their voices reached heaven. Chapter 9. Then Michael and Gabriel and Surjan and Urjan looked down from heaven and saw the great amount of blood which had been spilled on the earth, and all the wickedness had been committed over the earth. And they said to one another, The emptied earth re-echoes the sound of their cries up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, cry the souls of men, saying, Secure us judgment before the Most High. And they spoke to their Lord, to the King, O Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, the throne of thy majesty is among all the generations of the world, and thy name, holy and glorious, among all the generations of the world. Thou art blessed and praised. Thou hast made all things, and all power is with thee. All things are open before thee and uncovered, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. See then what Azazel has done, how he has taught all wickedness on the earth, and has revealed the secrets of the world which were prepared in the heavens. And Semyaza, to whom thou hast given the power to be chief of his associates, has made known conjurations. And they have gone together to the daughters of men, and had slept with them, with those women, and have defiled themselves, and have revealed to them these sins. And the women have brought forth giants, and thereby the whole earth has been filled with blood and wickedness. And now, behold, the souls which have died cry and lament to the gates of heaven, and their groans ascend, and they are not able to escape from the wickedness which is committed on earth. And thou knowest everything before it comes to pass, and thou knowest this and their circumstances, and yet thou dost not speak to us. What shall we therefore do in regard to this? Chapter 10. Then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke and sent Arsalaldir to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end which is to come. For the whole earth will be destroyed, and the water of the deluge is about to come over the whole earth, and what is upon it will be destroyed. And now instruct him, that he may escape, and his seed remain on the whole earth. And again the Lord spoke to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot, and put him in the darkness, make an opening in the desert which is Dudael, and put him there, and lay upon him rough and pointed rocks, and cover him with darkness, that he may remain there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see the light. And on the great day of judgment he will be cast into the fire, and heal the earth, which the angels have defiled, and announce the healing of the earth, that I will heal it, and that not all the sons of men shall be destroyed through the mystery of all the things which the watchers have spoken, and have taught their sons. And the whole earth was defiled through the example of the deeds of Azazel. To him ascribe all the sins. And God said to Gabriel, Go against the bastards, and those cast off against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, and the children of the watchers from among men. Lead them out, and let them loose, that they may destroy each other by murder. For their days shall not be long, and they will all supplicate thee, but their fathers will secure nothing for them, although they expect an everlasting life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And God said to Michael, Announce to Semyaza and to the others who are with him, who have bound themselves to women, to be destroyed with them in all their contamination, when all their sons shall have slain one another, and they shall have seen the destruction of their beloved ones. Bind them under the hills of the earth for 70 generations, till the day of their judgment and of their end, till the last judgment has been passed for all eternity. And in those days they will be led to the abyss of fire, in torture and in prison. They will be locked for all eternity. And then he will burn and be destroyed. They will be burned together from now on to the end of all generations, and destroy all souls of lust and the children of the watchers, because they have oppressed mankind. Destroy all oppression from the face of the earth, and all wicked deeds shall cease, and the plant of justice and righteousness shall appear, and deeds will become a blessing. Justice and righteousness will be planted in joy forever. Then all the just will bend the knee, and they will remain alive till they beget 1,000 children, and they will complete all the days of their youth and their Sabbath in peace. And in those days the whole earth will be worked in justice, and all will be planted with trees, and will be full of blessings. And all the trees of desire will be planted on it, and vines will be planted on it. The vine planted on it will bear fruit in abundance. And of all the seed sown on it, 1 measure will bear 10,000, and 1 measure of olives will make 10 presses of oil. And cleanse thou the earth of all oppression, and all injustice, and all sin, and all wickedness, and all uncleanness, which are produced on the earth. Eradicate them from the earth. And all the children of men shall become just, and all the nations shall worship me as God, and bless, and all will worship me. And the earth will be cleansed of all corruption, and all sin, and all punishment, and all torment. And I will never again send a flood upon it from generation to generation, to eternity. Chapter 11. And in those days I will open the storerooms of blessings, which are in heaven, in order to bring them down upon the earth, upon the deeds and labor of the children of men. Peace and rectitude will become associates in all the days of the world, and in all the generations of the world.
So with this, my fellow brethren all over the world, I'd like to enjoin everybody to try and study other books. But be mindful of the kind of books you read. There are some magical ones which you don't need to dabble into. But the book of Enoch, so far as I've gone, I have not seen anything that is discussing any discussion in it which is contrary to the salvation of Jesus Christ. I don't see where it is contrary to the belief of Christians as believers of Christ. So I recommend it for people to read. And also the book of Jubilee. When you read these books, you will discover there are some, you put these dots together, you discover there are some things, some stories in the Bible which are like open-ended stories which you cannot really, it doesn't make sense, because it was deliberately omitted. Those things, the connections were omitted to confuse the Christians, and this was done by our ancestors, those people who first got this, maybe not just people who deliberately, who Satan wants to use to deceive the children of God, to get the truth, from getting the true stories. For example, like when you ask in a book in the Bible, who did Cain marry after killing Abel? Because Cain and Abel were the 2 sons of Adam and Eve. Then Cain killed Abel. Then he was cursed. Then in the Bible, he said he wandered out, and the mark was placed on him that whoever kills him will be punished as well. But he was cursed to die because of the sin he committed by killing his own brother. Then he got married. If really they were the first 2 children of Eve, Adam and Eve, then who did he get married to? You see? So that is why when you read the book of Jubilee and go to the book of Enoch, you will discover that Cain married his own sister, because having given birth to Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve begot other children, daughters, from which Cain got married to. So when I went through with the book, when I read the book of Jubilee, I saw the connection that in those days, brothers and sisters could marry until the population was much. Then God stopped it. So what is the reason why that story was not included in the Bible? Then how do you make the connection that Cain got married, being the only son after killing Abel, and they were the only people on earth? Who did he get married to? Meaning they are trying to make light of the Bible, that there were other people existing before Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve. That is not true. That is why we really need to read all those books which they term as their apocrypha, forbidden books. Why were they forbidden? But when you read them, you see the connection, connecting those dots which we have in the Bible, which could not make any meaning. So to me, this is Brother Elliot again. I advise everybody to read the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilee. And we see how the book of Josiah, but there are some that is not, they say it's contrary to the Bible, contrary to the will of God. So far, it did not go against Christ. It talks about salvation through Christ. To me, it is good for us to go into it. So thank you very much for listening. We'll come back again with other topic based on this very book of Enoch and possibly book of Jubilee. So please, till next time we meet again. This is your brother Elliot. Thanks. Bye.